Good morning, traders, and welcome to Phoenix Blue's morning update. This is being hosted by Mark Owen, and today we're going to have a look at what news announcements are coming out and any potential trading opportunities. Now, if you've been following for the last few weeks, you'll have noticed we've been having a really successful time. It's great when we do have these winning trades and the markets are behaving the way we expect, but what we do have to remember is we can't get overconfident. And one of the main things that I do notice from a lot of people that we work with, traders, fund managers, etc., when they start having a good period, they become more respondent or more interested in learning more new techniques or more information, and they try and overload themselves with, I must learn something new. And the one thing that you must always remember is become a master of what you do. Make sure you excel in what you do for a long period of time before you even contemplate bringing in more techniques or more indicators or more analysis. Okay, make sure you're being profitable and consistently profitable. This way, what you'll find is trading is not meant to be exciting. Okay, trading is a job, and what's meant to be exciting is the returns that you make. So just try and stay grounded and focused on your development and what you're doing. This way, what will happen is you'll start to excel in the areas that you're working on. So what's happening today? Well, we've got a huge day today in terms of news. What's happened so far? Well, Australian dollar, they brought in their CPI. It came in as forecast at 0.4%. In terms of inflationary figures, a year to date, they stand at 1%, which is the weakest level of inflation since 1999. Now, on the back of this, you could argue that a rate cut is likely to come in August. Whether it does or it doesn't, we don't know. We're going to have a look at the Aussie chart after we've gone through the news and a couple of other charts, but I'm going to look for opportunities to sell Aussie dollar on any rally. Now, unfortunately, the move that happened last night, it had a decent spike up and then it's come back down, as you'll see when we go through the chart. But Aussie dollar, I'm gonna look for a rate cut in August. So this could be relatively interesting for us. Now, GDP for sterling at 9:30. It's forecast at 0.5, but if you read through the news articles, some analysts are forecasting, although there obviously was a tendency of Brexit and certain political views overshadowing the UK throughout this period, some analysts are actually anticipating a better than forecast GDP quarter on quarter. Some are forecasting it to come in at 0.6, which, if that is the case, you'll probably see a relief rally in sterling. How long it'll last, we don't know, because then obviously the main thing we've got coming out at 7 p.m. this evening is the FOMC statement and the federal funds rate. Well, I'm not going to say bet your mortgage on it, but it's one of those that it's almost a certainty that the rates are going to remain the same. We looked through the majority of the forecasts from lots of analysts, and the majority are forecasting that the rate will stay the same. In terms of the next rate hike, well, yes, they are saying it is data dependent, but let's wait to see what happens tonight. In recent, the data's been okay coming out of the US. Everything's been hitting in recent weeks or slightly in front, with the odd little blip here and there. Now, where we will potentially see a rate hike will be either quarter 3 or quarter 4 is what has been mentioned. Now, no one's anticipating the rate hike to be, if it is going to be quarter 4, it's not going to be in November, because the November rate hike, if it were to come in, will be too close to the elections. So therefore, if there is going to be a quarter 4 rate hike, forecast is for December. So we've got potentially another 4 months wait if that is going to be the case. So in terms of FX, we've got to be pretty careful right now. If you've got no positions running, there's no point actually jumping into the market. Let's see if we can get some direction from the news today, and forecast where the markets are likely to go over the next week, the next month, and so on. We are heading into the seasonal holiday period, so you will find liquidity lighter in the market. I usually find that August is a pretty shocking month in terms of my trading, along with December. So throughout August and December, whatever my risk is, I usually halve my risk for August and December to protect any downside. Remember, capital preservation is key. So let's have a look at the charts. Okay, so the Nikkei, well, we can see that obviously when we were talking about the Nikkei back in early July, late June, if we'd have got in the early 15,000s, late 14s, what a fantastic trade that would have been. Obviously, there's a lot been on the back of the yen that's been selling off quite aggressively, and Nintendo has been moving crazy throughout this period, all on the back of the Pokemon app. Now, what we can see is this market has moved up. It has broke the short-term trend line. It's come back to retest it, and it's sat in this little zone here. In all honesty, it's in no man's land for me. As the market was rallying up, I was looking at around 15,750, which is through this area here, the neckline of this double bottom, 15,750 to 15,800. I was looking for a retracement, a deeper retracement to come in, but it didn't. So ultimately, no trade on the Nikkei for me. We will see 17,250, 17,500 as a point of control. If we break through this, then we do have major upside to at least 20,000. Well, the dollar index is pretty much sat at the top of a channel. We can see it channeled down for a long period throughout this year. We've started having some dollar strength coming in, primarily through the sell-off in yen and a little bit of a sell-off in sterling. And but we can see now. Look at the candle here. We've got a big bullish weekly candle. Then we've got currently an inside candle. Could be a hanging man, but obviously we've still got a few days left of this week. So this candle is, we can't count this candle as a weekly candle yet. It's still forming, but it is at resistance. So we've got to see what happens here and trade as we see fit, which is why I'm saying that currencies, if we look through the majors and minors, you'll see them all at pretty much key levels or consolidation. So it's a waiting phase. Dollar yen, well, we had a great day on dollar yen yesterday. We actually sold this candle through here, top of the channel. We targeted these lows here, and then we went long yesterday. So you might wonder why we went long. Well, the market came down into an area that is, in terms of a daily support level, it came down into daily S3, which is pretty rare. And when that lined up with structure, it gave us a fantastic opportunity on the 4-hourly chart. And then last night, that banked first profits in here, just over 150 pips for a nice return. So dollar yen returned as just over 1.3 to 1 selling, and then going back up at just over 1.5 to 1 last night. So we took a nice quick return on that. We are still in this market, and we are at break even. Now remember, the yen is, we've got Bank of Japan speaking on the back end of the week, where they will be discussing monetary policy. Are we going to get stimulus? Are we going to get, I can't see further rate cuts because they're negative, but we might see some stimulus package now that Abe has won the upper house elections. Machinery order is on the go slow. There's not much new machinery orders. So they're definitely going to try and create a spark in the Japanese economy. How they do that and to what extent is going to be the major question. So Aussie dollar, what we're looking at here, well, we can see that this market is funneling. It's going into an apex. So we can see this long-term trend line here and a shorter-term trend line here coming up. Now, we can see you've got lower highs and higher lows. A short-term rally coming in through here. Now, if we look at today's candle so far, had a huge spike up, only to come back down to below where the market opened. So this is, you can see the market's probably forecasting something similar to what I was saying earlier. So on the back of the data coming in as forecast, we saw a big rally into the Aussie dollar, taking it up into the region of 75.80s, only for the market to sell off quite aggressively since. So although data was as expected, when you look at the data year on year, it actually isn't that good. In fact, it's pretty drastic considering that the inflationary level currently is the weakest since 1999. So I think what we're seeing is not only the technicals playing out, but we're seeing now analysts going, do you know what? There's probably time to start thinking about a rate cut being priced in. So how can we look at trading this market? Well, you've got a couple of key sort of areas or points of control. So around the 73.40, 73.60, which is pretty much through this 61.8 and these highs here. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a point of control. We can see the market has stuck around this area quite significantly. So I'd be looking, in all honesty, short-term trading, you're looking to sell down to 73.40, down to this trend line. Ideally, what we want to see is a break below, close below, lower low, lower close, and then we'll look for a pullback up into the 73.40 to get short and potentially take this market right down to the 69, 68.50s area. So that's Aussie dollar. Now, cable, we've got a couple of charts here. We've got the daily and the 1 hourly. So we've got a position running on cable now from 132.85, which we've been in since a few days ago. Just this spike here got us in beautifully. Now, if we look, since Brexit, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So we've got 23 trading days where this market has sat within like a 400 pip range. Now, it really isn't doing anything. It's waiting for direction. So, and if we look at the last 8 days here, it's moved from 132.80 down to 131. So the last 8 days, it's only had a 180 pip range. So there's a couple of things you can look at doing, and one of those would be, my bias obviously for this market is short, primarily on the back of Brexit. When is Article 50 going to be released? What's going to happen? The data coming out of the UK, apart from the PMI that came out the other day, has been pretty good, which is quite incredible considering what is happening right now. Although a couple of members of the Bank of England have now hinted that after the PMI figures that came out, stimulus is needed, and it's needed now. So this, to me, fundamentally only offers one decent opportunity, and that's look to sell cable on any rallies. So wait for the direction. Well, to me, the direction, when this goes, it could go with a bang now, because it's been consolidating for so many days. Maybe some of this now is waiting on the back of the FOMC statement. That could give it the next push through. Alternatively, it's wait for more sterling data. So let's see what comes out tonight anyway. But we are currently short from 132.85. Initial targets are in at 129. We got in this market with a very tight stop, 30-point stop, and the main target of 129. Depending what is said in the FOMC tonight, if they're quite hawkish, then I will be amending targets, roughly 126, 125 in that region, and we'll look to hold this position. Well, gold, we've been holding now for, this is our 4th week, I believe. We got in at 1366. We've been holding this position. We've banked a couple of times, and we banked another half last night ahead of the FOMC. I don't want to take the risk, you know. We've got a good few percent. We've got just short of 4% in open P&L in the market right now. So I'm going to be banking most of my profits today. There's no point sitting through a news announcement and hoping that the news goes the way you want it. You know, there's a famous saying, I'd much rather be a pilot on the floor wishing I was in the air than a pilot in the air wishing I was on the floor. You know, it's a great saying, and I can really relate to that in terms of trading, because, you know, there's one thing getting into a trade, and it's another thing trying to get out of a trade. So make sure the trades that you're in are the ones that you want to be in and not trying to get out of. So gold, yeah, we've banked good profit on this and it's moving very, very well. We do expect there to be a sticking point around the 1300 barrier where potentially if we get some decent price action, that's this blue box here, if we get some price action, potentially this is why it might stutter and stall. Ultimately, if the news is good out of the US, then we see further downside to gold in the short term. Ultimately, I do expect gold to have a very bullish year towards the end of it, so we will be looking to get long again in gold at some point. But for now, we're still short. We're holding our shorts. We've got profit locked in. We're covered, but we'll wait and see what happens tonight. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got a trading event on August the 24th here in London, and this event is actually welcome to all traders. It's come and meet the Phoenix Blue team. Come down. It's a 4-hour session. We'll be trading. We'll be looking at what Phoenix Blue has to offer, our services. Is it a company? Is it a team that you'd like to be part of? If so, register for the event. You go to our website or email info@phoenixblue.co.uk. Tell us that you'd like to be registered, and we'll send a link out for you to register for the event. We've got a new product that's been released. It's called the Investor Insight Pack. This is our analysis, a full analysis broken down into technical breakdown of the charts, fundamental breakdown of the charts. We also look at Commitment of Traders report, break that down for you. This is released every week. Okay, so what we're trying to do is, for those of you that feel that you're competent at trading, but you just don't have the time to do all the analysis because it is a time-consuming job, we do it for you. Okay, so all you would need to do is drop us an email with Investor Insight Pack or IIP in the subject line. Drop that to mark@phoenixblue.co.uk or info@phoenixblue.co.uk, and we'll happy to discuss with you how the subscription works. Also, coming in September, another new product that's going to be launched will be live trading with Phoenix Blue via webinar. So wherever you are in the world, Australia, Canada, Singapore, China, Norway, you name it, Brazil, anywhere, you can get on board. Come and join the Phoenix Blue team Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 p.m. till 3 p.m. UK time. We will be trading live. You have access to see what we are doing and how we are doing it. If you want to subscribe to that, there will be limited spaces. Make sure you get your space reserved early and we can start the subscription, but that is September, okay? So you've got a good few weeks before we kick off with that. Any other questions? Please, guys, we love to hear your feedback. We love questions from you. We're happy to help. What else have we got coming up in the meantime? Anyone that's in Norway, we've got an event in Norway, August the 18th in Oslo. So if you've got any friends, any traders that are in Norway that you think would benefit from meeting the Phoenix Blue team, don't forget, drop us an email, get in contact, and get your space registered. Okay, guys, listen, have a great trading day. Be disciplined because it is FOMC. We're probably going to see some huge swings in the market, so get your stops to break even. And that's it. Have a great day, all the best, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow.